let's see what MCP is in just a few minutes. I prepared this sheet with all informations you need to know about MCP. Let's start with the first box, which is what is MCP? MCP is a Model Context Protocol, so it's a new way for LLMs to connect with additional resources and tools. So you can basically think of it as a universal connector that allows you to connect your AI to get real-time data from different sources like documents, databases, emails, and also do a web search, as you may know from ChatGPT, instead of the old way, relying on just trained internal knowledge of the AI model. Why do we need it? So before MCP was out, your agents did not have the information, as said here, because they only rely on internal knowledge, or you needed to implement custom connections for each resource or tool you want to use, which is very time consuming and inefficient. So MCP solves this by providing a standardized common system that allows any AI model or agent to interact with third-party resources. So how does it do it? So let's take a look at this graphic I prepared here. On the left side, we have a graphic with on top is the MCP host, which is your OS operating system. So Windows, Linux, whatever. And there you got a MCP client installed, like Claude Desktop, Windsurf, Cursor, or any other client that can chat with LLMs or use models and call tools. So on the right side, we can see an example. So the user sends a prompt, what is Bolt.diy? And now let's assume the LLM does not know what Bolt.diy is, because it's basically just half a year old and our model is maybe from last year, beginning of last year. So it doesn't know what Bolt.diy is. So then the client, so here, can decide itself, do I have this knowledge or not? In this case, it has not the knowledge, so it can do a web search in this case. So it decides to go here on the right side to the MCP server for the web search, calling it. This does the web search, gets the information, and sends it back to the client. So the LLM has now much more informations and can prepare a better answer for the user with a lot of more informations. So this is basically it, not more. So yeah, but you can do this with a lot of tools. So not just web search, you can create an MCP server for Superbase, for example, which is a database. You can create an MCP server for your file system. So it could basically interact with your computer. So could do things there. So list files, directories, search things. Yeah, and help you organize stuff. How does an MCP server look like? So this is a example configuration for a file system MCP server we can use in Claude Desktop, for example, which I will show you right now. Now we do the example, and we are now here in Claude Desktop, which I will link in the description in case you want to download it and test it yourself. So what you need to do here. So first, it is just a chat interface from Anthropic, and you can use the Anthropic models here to chat and also use MCP servers. So I'm currently on the free plan, so you can do the same. So what you need to do to enable the MCP server, you go here on top in the menu, then File, Settings, then go to Developer in this menu, and you see I already got file system and Git, but you have to go to Edit Config. Then it opens the Claude folder where you can see the Claude Desktop config. You can open it in any editor, and then you can add your MCP servers here as well. So as you can see here, I have here the MCP server, then there's the file system with the needed arguments, and the last one is the folder I want to provide to the MCP server. So it can just use my desktop in this case to see the files. I also have Git here to receive some Git status informations from my Git projects, in this case Bolt.diy, so I can chat with this as well. So let's go back to Claude. Let's close this, and then we can simply do list the files of my desktop. And maybe one more thing here on the bottom below the chat interface, you can see this icon here, these connectors. So this is the sign your MCP is configured. So you can click it, and it also says it here: installed MCP server, secure file system server, and MCP Git. And you also can see it here on this tool. If I open it, you can see all available tools. So the two connectors have multiple tools, like the file system has create directory, directory tree, and other stuff. And Git has its own tools like commit, git add, checkout, everything you need for Git. So let's try this out. Send. Then you have to allow to use it. Yes, we want to allow for this chat. Allow again. And as you can see, we now got the files on my desktop. I only have these three, so this is hidden. This is standard from Windows. But if we go back here or make this smaller, you can see I have the task list advanced link and the Claude Inc. here on my desktop. So this works perfectly fine. Yeah, and with this information, you could now do other stuff. You could analyze Excel files, Word files, PDFs, and just tell it now to use these files for things you need to do. If you want to know more about or more in detail about the Model Context Protocol, then you can go to the entropic.com site, which is the inventor of the MCP protocol. It's from last year, November, and you can read there everything in detail. There are a lot of links to other stuff, and maybe the most important stuff for you here is the open source repository linked. So if you click there, then you can see here, a good list of available servers. So you don't have to write yourself MCP servers. So you can just use them. As I used file system and Git in my case, but you can check everything else here. I will link this as well in the description. So this was it for today. I hope it helped you. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I would appreciate a subscribe and like if you want to see more of such content. Bye.